Can you guys hear me? I think so. Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Speier Park here in Okoboji. Stunningly beautiful day. We're so thankful for this Blue Okoboji Day. For those of you who don't know, my name is Michael Myers. I'm the city administrator with the city of Okoboji here. And on behalf of the city, the mayor, and the city council, welcome to Speier Park. We're happy to have you here today. So, yeah. 2 years ago, I started with the city in January of 2018, and 2 years ago, one of the first times I ever met Hank and Jan Grant is they walked into my office. One of the first things they ever said to me was, "When are the pickleball courts getting built?" And and a lot of things were going through my head, but the one that came out was, "What the heck is pickleball?" I had no idea. And I figured, is this a niche sport? Played in Florida and Arizona and so on and so forth. But little did I know, over the next 2 years, not only would I become some sort of a pickleball expert without ever actually picking up a paddle, but quickly to learn that this is one of the fastest growing sports in the country. And I can't tell you the number of phone calls we've received about this facility, the number of phone calls we received prior to the construction of this facility, asking about pickleball. Where can we play pickleball in Okoboji? So there's no doubt in my mind that pickleball mania is here in Okoboji, and we're so thankful to be able to offer this incredible, beautiful, world-class, outdoor, free, public recreational asset here in the Lakes area. This has been truly an extraordinary community project. And we're so thankful for everyone who participated in it, from the donors to the Okoboji Pickleball Group. Without the Okoboji Pickleball Group, none of this would be possible. They really took this on and spearheaded the fundraising effort, and they absolutely knocked it out of the park. So we're so thankful for that, and we're just so excited to have this facility here. And of course, none of this would be possible without this beautiful space here in Speier Park. Speier Park is an absolute jewel here in the Lakes area. And for those of you who don't know, the park here was donated by Sam Speier, and we're so fortunate to have this beautiful open public space, and thankful to the Speier family. And it's my honor to introduce Mary Myros and Susan Wingler, who are daughters of Sam Speier, to talk about the park and what this means to their family.
Well, thank you. We are just so honored to be here and to be a part of this. And I just wanted to tell you just a little quick story of the back of this park and all. My father and mom, they purchased this land well over 50 years ago. And I don't really know the particulars of it, but I would assume he was thinking of this as an investment property. Maybe he was envisioning someday there would be houses built here or whatever it would look like. But it was just a few years later that he realized that Okoboji needed a park for people to be able to enjoy. And that's when he donated in 1966 this land. And they built two tennis courts at that time, and all of the rest has followed. But I look at that and I think the investment property that he made was really an investment in the community of Okoboji in the Lakes region and the people. And I just believe that that was one of his greatest investments. And so we are just very thankful that he was looking forward and seeing what the needs were. And we have, as a family, have just enjoyed this so much over the years. Being able, just even when we drive by, to see people gathering for reunions under the shelter, or whether they're having tennis tournaments or one-on-one basketball, or the kids are playing on the play equipment. And now here we are with pickleball courts, and it's just the vision has expanded, and it's because of all of you, that are here and that are supporting and that are coming to enjoy.
Good job, Susie. I want to just thank you, all of us, the Speiers want to thank you for all the donations, the volunteer work, everything. The courts are magnificent, and it will be fun to drive by, like Susie said, and watch everybody playing, and maybe we'll come out and have to learn, take lessons, and all we can say is enjoy, and thank you so much.
Hi, my name's Terry Conkle, and I was involved with the committee on making this happen, and I'm happy to be here. Happy to see so many people here today. Just a quick survey. How many people you here are real history buffs, and when you took history in school, just could not stand it? You were so happy to have history class in school. You stayed awake wide, and you really enjoyed it. Not so many, probably. You know, well, I guess my question is, I'm not sure why, of all the possible topics they could give an engineer to give, they would pick the boring subject of history of how this park how the pickleball court all happened, but I get the boring subject to give you. So anyway, so I brought my little book I made here of the amazing true story of the history of how Okoboji pickleball went from a dream to become a reality. And Richard Scarry does some amazing writing, by the way. So chapter 1, our story begins a long time ago in a land called the Iowa Great Lakes. It was a beautiful area with lots of trees and lakes and parks, but it was kind of barren. It had no pickleball courts. In this area there lived a loving couple named Hank and Jan Grant. It was a beautiful summer night way back in 2017. Hank and Jan were sleeping soundly when suddenly they both sat upright in bed and were amazed that they realized they both had just shared the same dream. They had a vision of how much greater the lakes area would be if it had outdoor, free, dedicated pickleball. And Hank and Jan couldn't get to sleep that night. They lay there and talked long into the wee hours about it. And the next day, they hurried to the city of Okoboji with their vision and gushed about how pickleball was the fastest growing sport in the U.S. and how wonderful it would be for the lakes area. And they also happened to mention that they were getting older and that they couldn't wait forever for pickleball to come to the lakes area. Hank and Jan were happy when the city agreed to provide the perfect spot for the courts, Speier Park. Chapter 2. This is a long book, you can see. There are donuts over there. Hank and Jan spent many months explaining and presenting their vision to those that would listen, but the project just couldn't seem to get any real traction. After 2 long years had passed, on a gorgeous afternoon last summer, Jan left Hank at home to work in her tomato garden while she pondered pickleball at a meeting about Brooks Golf Course at the the Dickinson County Conservation Center. After the meeting was over, as Jan stood up to leave, a couple of pickleball enthusiasts came up to talk to her about her vision. That chance meeting was the start of real progress. They mutually agreed to meet with other pickleball friends and formed a dedicated group to actively work on the project. Chapter 3, kind of a boring chapter, but critical to the success of the story. The group had lots of questions. How do we raise the money? Who controls the money? How do we get tax deductibility for people who want to donate? How do we manage the design? How do we manage the construction? How do we do contracts? How do we pay bills? How about liability? How about long-term maintenance? Lots of questions. The majority of these problems were solved when the city of Okoboji agreed to partner with the group. The group needed to raise the funds, but the city would provide the project management and would assume long-term ownership. The city also agreed to provide $20,400 for the project design cost. A major piece of the puzzle was put in place when, wherever he went, where did Michael go? Michael Myers agreed to work with the group and coordinate with the city. Thank you, Michael. There's absolutely no way this great project would have ever happened without that connection with Michael. A person who's never even held a pickleball paddle was one of the biggest cheerleaders, and never during this project did he ever lose sight of the ball. Thank you, Michael. Chapter 4, the group was enthusiastic and charges forward. There's a lot of momentum and many donors are providing support with donations ranging from $5 to $20,000. Plus the dirt excavation gets donated. But in a few short weeks, it's now August, and reality sets in. $250,000 is a lot of money to raise. Fundraising is not much fun, it's hard work. And it's too late to build courts in 2019. And as we all know, the lakes area shuts down by the end of August, so it's hard to raise money then when stores are closing for the year, people are planning for the next year, and also many on the committee are leaving for winter hibernation at other pickleball heavens, so things come to a standstill. The donations were enough, however, that the city agreed to begin with the design work. A huge boost during this time was our new Okoboji Pickleball Facebook page. That Okoboji Pickleball Facebook page gave a lot of credibility to the project and was a great way for us to maintain visibility through the winter and communicate our project and our progress with the project. I don't know where Diana is. Is she Diana? Anyway, a huge thank you to Diana for her work with managing and taking care of and promoting that Facebook page. And I don't know where we're at today. When I talked with Diana about a week or week and a half ago, we had an amazing 946 Facebook friends. I just looked a day or two ago, and that was up over 960 Facebook friends. So crazy how much people are watching this on Facebook. But that does show a lot of the interest in pickleball also, really. So thank you again, Diana. Chapter 5, fast forward several months, reality strikes again. The design will finish by the end of the year, by January, but there's not enough money to go forward with going out for construction bids. So if there's any hope for the courts for 2020, we need additional funding. Two major things happened in late December. One, some local donors came forward to support the project, and two, a meeting was held with our three major donors. It was actually New Year's Eve afternoon, and all three of our major donors enthusiastically agreed to increase their donations to the name of court level. With that, the city agreed to go forward with the project bids in early January, and those actions and that timing were totally critical. Had they not happened, had they been delayed even slightly, the project would certainly have been delayed at least till fall and probably till next year. So that was extremely critical, and thank you to all those donors that stepped up at that time. That was great. Chapter 6, a short chapter, but lots of activity. In February, with a $40,000 boost from the city of Okoboji, there was enough money on hand to start the project. The contract for the first phase was approved. That was to do the groundwork and the concrete pad and install the fencing. The dirt work started as soon as the weather permitted in April, and construction was completed like clockwork. It really went very smooth. Doing this chunk was extremely positive to everyone because we knew that we would have playable courts this summer, even if we couldn't do all the finishing phases. Unknown to anyone at the time, we were just ahead of the problems that COVID would have presented to us all and how that would have delayed the project. Chapter 7, the final wrap. There is an end to this story, by the way, eventually, but Chapter 7, the final wrap. The courts were happening, but there weren't enough funds to really complete the project. The court surfacing, the lines, the nets, the grass, the windscreens, all those sorts of things we didn't have enough money for. We'd applied for a grant from the Okoboji Foundation in January and were hopeful that they would support us. But in May, when the foundation agreed to grant us the full $50,000 that we'd requested, that gave us the funds that we needed to do the next step to really get to where we are today. The end of the story. I do have a little bitty epilogue side note. I don't know if Herman Richter made it here today or not, but anyway, Herman was a fundraising mentor through this whole thing and has had some inspiring words of wisdom. And one of the comments that Herman made, I've paraphrased slightly, but Herman said, he's always enthusiastic, obviously, you all know Herman, but Herman said, "This is a great community we live in, and although there are an unbelievable number of worthy causes, if there's a vision and a need, people here will get behind it, support it, and make it happen." And how right Herman was. Actually, this is not the end of the story. There is a sequel, and Janelle will be sharing that with you when she comes up here shortly. And oh yes, I almost forgot. Whatever happened to Hank and Jan that started the whole thing, sitting right over there? They're sleeping peacefully now, all night, with visions of pickleballs dancing happily in their dreams. Before I sit down, I do have to mention one other special person who's been a big help in making this project a success. A person who's been behind the scenes, helping in many ways, certainly supporting me and being a sounding board, and of course advising me, my wife Jane. Thank you.
Yeah, way to go. 3 minutes. Terry, can you stay for a second? Terry. Terry. See, he doesn't listen. Come here. Okay. First of all, this is truly one of the most humble men I have ever met. And he will never tell you how much he's done to make this project happen. He was relentless, tireless. Fundraising is infinitely hard, and I know firsthand how hard it is to go from A to Z to get to the courts, which is why I allowed you longer than your 3-minute speech. So as a ginormous thank you, the committee, please stand. Everybody that was on the committee. We want to give you this. Please open it. It's beautiful.
Cool. I might even hang that on my
So, oddly enough, to give somebody a gift and then take it back is exactly what we're going to do, because this will be affixed to the north bench, and we're going to do that, I believe, tomorrow, right, Michael, or by Monday? Soonly. So we're going to add this, and it says Terry Kunkel for outstanding leadership, which it truly was. Thank you.
Well, you know, one thing about this, my wife really never appreciates my leadership when we're playing pickleball together on the same team. And now I'll be able to tell that other people do appreciate it a lot. So.
You can just point to the bench. Have a seat, darling. Thank you again, Terry. My name is Janelle Trowbridge, and we have been coming to the Okoboji Lakes for, well, my husband grew up here on the lake. But we've got one of the cottages on Des Moines Beach through his family. We are the 4th generation, our daughter being the 5th generation of being in that cottage. And I was very struck by the pickleball community here. We snowbird, we got very involved in pickleball. I built 8 courts in California, and when I got down here and heard about the pickleball project, I got involved. And because one of the things I can tell you is that of all the sports I have played, and I've played a lot of them, this is the one where I have made the best friends that are lifelong. We laugh ourselves crazy on the court. We have the best time, and then afterwards you get together and you have a beer or you go for a walk or whatever it might be, and we've made great friends. I also love the fact that you get people of all ages playing this. I know that they teach pickleball in school here, but unfortunately there really isn't a public space to go and play. So a lot of the kids were not continuing on. So this was one of the visions for these courts. In addition to that, I tell you, we live just down here. We walk to these almost every night. And there have been people out here playing of all ages, little kids with their parents and grandparents, younger kids just like getting out there and really having a good time, and all of us as well. So it's really, you know, a lot of people will say, oh, it's an old person sport, but I will tell you, we went to nationals, and I am telling you, this is not an old person sport. It's an everybody sport. You can start young and play all the way through, and it's just an amazing thing that we have done together to make this happen. There's always another chapter, as Terry proved, and so we are looking at phase 2. And so what is phase 2? Phase 2 is easier than phase 1, I'll guarantee you that. And what we are looking at is hopefully very soon, definitely not this season because we're late in the season, and this was enough to do for this one. but we're looking towards having tournaments and classes to teach pickleball and classes to teach those of us who are in the middle or more advanced to upper game. And if you take a look on the board over there, you'll see we will be letting you know as things come along. The first thing we have done is posted some times that we're going to have drop-in pickleball. So please take a look at that. There's also a QR code that you can shoot with your camera on your smartphone that will take you right to our Facebook page that will allow you to follow whatever we've got going on. So once we start doing tournaments and things like that, we'll be posting it on the board, but also watching the Facebook page. And then, exciting, we are going to build, hopefully, we're not sure exactly when, we still need to do a little more fundraising for it, but a shade structure. And that shade structure will be in between the pickleball courts and the tennis courts. That's the vision at this moment, but we all know how that happens. Things change depending on grading and all kinds of different things. But that way they can share that space together and build those two communities a space that will work lovely and in tangent. So if anybody is interested in donating or helping to find donations for that, please see Michael or myself or someone on the committee, because we definitely want to make that happen. Okay, without further ado, I would like to have Ken come up. Well, actually, before I do that, I'd like to have Michael come up for just one quick second. Like Terry pointed out, this could not have happened without Michael being our huge advocate. And for someone who doesn't even play pickleball, to really be passionate about it is fabulous. But we'll get you out there. But Michael, we just wanted to thank you. I wish it could be more, but we understand. So anyway, huge round of applause for Michael. Thank you. Ken, where are you? Mr. Ferguson. And if we could get our 4 major donors to go ahead and go over to the velvet signs. There you go.
So what am I doing now?
Repeat after me.
Well, fortunately, Terry used up most of the time, so this will be quick. I'm going to thank all the donors. I especially want to thank the donors that are not recognized here on these signs. That every $5 counts. And it really counts that so many people are interested enough to make a donation. So, you can't hear me. There you go. Sorry. So, we're going to uncover the signs. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So, Court 1, Sherry Ferguson. Wilford. Sherry Ferguson, pull that red cloth off. Hank and Jan, pull yours. What's all right, Terry, Teresa. And the Okoboji Foundation by Ryan Johnson. Thank you. Oh, Mark's going to do something? Go, Mark, go. So I don't want to hold you here any longer. I got to go for a picture? Okay. I have a ball for Jana. Since she got the ball rolling, I autographed this ball for her and wrote some things on it.
Okay. So while they're doing that, what I'd like is to go ahead and have Mary and Susie and Mayor Mary, Michael, the committee, go ahead and come on up here, and we're going to do the true ribbon cutting. Okay, Terry, okay. All right, good. Yeah, go ahead and hop up in there. Okay, so everybody on the committee, if you could come up. The last thing we're going to do is we are going to christen the courts. So on this first court over here, if I could please have, oh, wait a second. Actually, can I have the committee come up for one moment? Everybody that was on the committee, just one quick moment here. Do you want the donors to? Yeah.
So it's been a fabulous committee to work with, and even though we all have lives of our own to live, anytime anything needed to be done, this committee hopped right to it, and if they could make a meeting, they were always there, and there were no excuses. And I just really enjoyed working with them, and I wanted to thank every one of them. So if you guys would just stay here for a second.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Terry.
Thanks, Terry.
So thank you very much. And I'd also like the name of court donors to come up, please. Sure. You guys can go down.
Okay.
For a second, Hank.
I think I might have to tighten it up a little.
I need to make another donation.
You can get one too.
Well, without all these key people, it would not have happened either. So thank you very much.
Nope, I wasn't going to pull. I was like, yeah, have you guys jump rope. All right, so now if I could have, we're going to play the first point. If everybody wants to go over and watch we're just going to play one point, and then we'll open up the court.
It's time for Okoboji Broadcast with Jeff Thee. And Okoboji Broadcast with Jeff Thee is brought to you in part by the headquarters of the University of Okoboji is at the Three Sons, open Monday through Saturday 10 to 5 and Sunday noon to 4. Last Touch Painting and Cleaning, providing interior, exterior, and house painting and professional cleaning services in Spirit Lake. Okoboji Mattress Company, 1 mile west of the junction of Highway 9 and 71 in Spirit Lake. Bank Midwest, dream big, plan wisely, live well. and Ducky's Marine and Motorsports Repair in Spirit Lake. Lakes Regional Healthcare and Avera Partner, Brand's Law Office in Spirit Lake, Ruthven Locker, where carnivores are welcome on Hill Avenue in Spirit Lake, Beck Engineering in Spirit Lake, B Radiant Laser Skin Studio, newly located in the Okoboji Plaza in Okoboji, and by Quest Wealth Management, a financial advisory practice of Ameriprise Financial Services, advisors Jan Spielman, AJ Spielman, and Erica Wachholz.